Hello, today I want to talk a little bit about combating fraudulent web traffic activity. In today's world, bad actors that tend to attack your website are on the rise, and you as a website developer, small business owner, or someone who maintains a website need to be aware of some of those principles. So I'll highlight some kind of three fundamentals. They're not necessarily kind of the full bulletproof, but they're just essentials that I feel are necessary for kind of any business to be aware of. I'm shifting to my whiteboard and gonna just draw a little bit of simple web traffic. We have our user, go through our firewall, and then goes through our website. And this is just a basic kind of flow diagram of what traffic would look like. And then we have our HTTP requests. Um, the areas I want to highlight are number one, your firewall. Number two is inspecting your HTTP. And number three is your actual website. Again, those are suggestions. There are many different ways and kind of to tackle this, but I think this is just the necessary kind of minimum implementation that you need to have in place. For the firewall, I gotten to use Cloudflare. This is a software as a service offering that I have become familiar with. Flare. It is easy to implement. It starts with zero cost dollar, and then you can upgrade to a few other versions. Cloudflare is a blessing to any kind of hosting provider. It's just they've been around the market for years. Super easy to implement. You adjust the DNS settings, and when you enable it, you get a number of features out of the box. When you sign up for Cloudflare, you get things like the denial of service attacks, URL rewrites, just a number of offerings that you can start with and then you can upgrade to. And it's extremely convenient because it's, like I mentioned, a hosted platform, and they offer easy to implement and kind of features, which then you can integrate with your application. And slowly but surely they add a number of configurations, things like the bot prevention that you can get some of those kind of access to, and then you can upgrade for more. The WAF firewall rules that you can just take advantage of. Best way to think about it, Cloudflare will be your layer 7 kind of firewall that kind of offers this first layer of protection. The next area that I like to talk about, which is really inspecting your HTTP requests. And what we do in this case is when the HTTP comes our way, we take that IP and user agent, and then we run it through some sort of an analysis. And there are services that allows us to determine whether this traffic is coming from a kind of fraudulent kind of source. For example, there are the automated kind of bot attacks. Someone could be building a bot from a VPN kind of source or from a data center, and then time over time, those IPs get flagged, and then you become kind of familiar with their patterns and behavior. The company that I use for this is called IP Quality Score. IP Quality Score offers an API that allows you to pass in a set of parameters. You can start with as little as the IP address, and then you can enrich your data, pass in an email, kind of username, first name, last name, and it does a number of things. First thing that it does, if you pass an IP address, it tells you whether this is coming kind of from a VPN data center, the geolocation. If you pass in further parameters like the user agent, the email, it will kind of scan the dark web and then just kind of gives you results back. Again, it has its own database that kind of brings the results to, and then it gives you a fraud score that you you could then leverage to determine whether this traffic is kind of legit or not. This is one of many companies. This is just one company I happen to be familiar with. There are plenty of other projects. Below, where I will show you a sample of what the API response looks like. This is a response that is coming back from IP quality score. You get the fraud score, the country codes. Some things that I like to focus on are the VPN, active VPN, kind of trying to determine just the source of this information, if it's coming from a data center or a residential. Again, I wouldn't necessarily rely on the fraud score purely. I would combine that with some your own decision making that will help you kind of determine. But at least, for example, Netflix have been known to kind of tag people that come with VPN, that you could have a site that kind of you want to avoid those type of things, or you're seeing a lot of traffic coming from data center versus residential, when you should be having a consumer facing website. So just some of those tips and tricks that help you kind of track and inspect the HTTP request. The last item is your own website, is your own database. You need to be aware of your kind of the traffic that is coming your way. If you have a shopping website and you're seeing people trying to buy the same product over and over again, kind of that should be a suspicious pattern. The same user from the same IP or same kind of range of IPs. If you see like spike in activity, at night, when you should be expecting traffic to come during the daytime, kind of this is also maybe just something to pay attention to. I always like to store the requests that come from kind of the IP quality score, and then combine that with some of the traffic that comes from Cloudflare. You have access to both, but just to try to make a real-time decision making. If you're a credit card processing, you want to try to just kind of look for like the dark web responses, and then just combine that even further with other maybe services. But I would say those three items, especially the first two, Cloudflare or any type of firewall, and the second item, an HTTP inspection, are the first two steps that you need, because bad actors are on the rise, and defense from your website, and kind of if you're kind of building your own website, or responsible for kind of protecting your own web traffic, you also need to raise the level of awareness, and it's a combat, meaning that there's a back and forth between you and those bad actors. They get sophisticated, and then you also need to kind of raise the bar for them to kind of to prevent those type of attacks. I'm happy to receive your feedback in the comments if this is helpful, or if there are other topics that you want me to cover.